doing it live. I'm freaking out.
Okay, we apparently haven't dropped anything yet.
Have we dropped the base?
Hold on.
Nope, we're not dropping any bases.
No,
yes, we are.
we are.
We're dropping all the bases. We're dropping all the bases, and they all belong to
I
us.
wonder what that. I'm so confused.
Very strange.
Let me try this one more time here.
Oh, technical issues. All the bases, and they all belong to us. God, is that what we sound like? Gosh. Very strange.
Let's roll with it.
Rolling with it. Rolling with it.
I think we're fine.
Doing it.
Alright.
Doing that shit.
If it
Yeah,
lags, lags. We are really dropping 30% of the frames.
We are. At least for consistent, roughly a third of the frames are being dropped. As a fan of the AGDQ
It's so...
Save the Frames Foundation.
Apparently no one else is having an issue, though. I'm so puzzled because it's actually not even high bitrate.
It's a mystery to everyone. I'm gonna continue to fuck things up more by bringing up Twitch, so that I might, smack the microphone.
When was your birthday stream?
Beat the shit out of it. It would have been, oh god. Well, the last time I streamed on my channel would have been around my birthday. I think it might have been on my birthday, which is March 22nd. So it's been a while since I've done any actual big boy streaming.
Okay.
Big boy video game streaming at least. Oh god. Let's mute that. Let's bring up that viewer chat though. That chat though. Pop out. Alright, kill it. Kill it all dead. Kill it forever. Cool. That's what I wanted. Wanted to bring up the chat window so we could see everyone's lovely voices.
Steadily... No, we're not. We're not dropping anymore.
Maybe me smacking the microphone is what fixed it.
Yeah, because we're actually...
Oh, we're green.
We're green,
Oh, grand.
and I'm watching how many frames we dropped. 1218.
Aw. We've messed up our 33% consistency.
Ah, damn. Okay.
Man, it's good while it lasted. Oh well. Well, now we can get started.
Hello, everyone. If I could type hello correctly.
Instead of having a intro video, we decided to have an intro tech support exercise.
We had, we were dropping mad frames.
We were dropping
frames.
We were dropping the frames like we were dropping mixtapes.
Apparently, it did fix it when you smacked the microphone. Apparently, it was the microphone that was causing our issue with drop frames.
We just
so
smacked
apparently,
it.
just mic drop that bastard next time, and we'll have it fixed.
Problem solved.
We'll have it fixed instantly.
The majestic beard. Oh, Con man, you're too sweet.
All right, so it's been a week, but we decided to do them weekly.
Yes.
I think it's a pretty good idea because we typically have quite a bit to talk about anyway. So I guess the last time we went for like an hour and a half. It was pretty long. So we'll try to shorten it up a little bit, and hopefully we'll be able to shorten it up by kind of doing it weekly. Yeah. So, anyways, let's get into it. What have you been playing? I know you've been off work.
Yes.
So what have you been playing for the past week?
Well, the biggest one has been The Secret World. I know I've mentioned it the past couple weeks, and the more I'm playing it, the more I'm really starting to get into the real meat and potatoes of The Secret World. It's really, really cool. More importantly, I'm getting into the really cool and kind of weird quests. The kind of quests where there's like different types of quests in the game, and there are your typical... You would expect them to be fetch quests or kill this big mean Mamma Jamma quest, story quests that are sometimes a collection of different things, but with an overarching story. And even with the fetch quests and whatnot, there's a reason why you're doing it, and there's a lot of lore behind the scenes that you kind of piece together, all Dark Souls like. But more importantly, I'm getting into the investigation quests. So you'll be given a task. Like there was one I did a couple weeks back where you have to intercept these radio transmissions. Well, first you have to fix this radio. You go like around and get all these different pieces, construct a thing, use that thing to fix a radio, and then intercept some radio transmissions. And it's transmitting it in Morse code. And the game says, all right, use the Morse code to find out where to go next. It's okay, we'll wait. And you say, oh, they're serious. Oh shit, okay. Well, let me listen to it a bunch, try to write down the das and the dits, and look up a translator, or if you're feeling cheap like I was, just download a Morse code translator, and let it do all the heavy lifting for you. then in that case you have to listen. You have to kind of hold it up a couple times to make sure you get the right idea. But it gives you coordinates. You go to that coordinate and it continues the quest. There was one where you take a quest from this author who has this crazed fan that's been dogging him, and you have to like crack into the guy's website, like find his password, crack into it, and it's an actual website that Funcom, the developers for the Secret World, bought the domain for it. Like, it's an actual website. You go to it, everything looks legit. Of course, it's a facade website. There's no actual content to it, but I mean, there's content, but it's all fake content.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you go to like this particular website that's a fan page dedicated to this non-existent author, and yeah, you have to sort through it, find information that would hint towards what the password is to get into the guy's thing, and you have to. And Dexter loves it. He agrees. Raving reviews. So yeah, just lots of very not quite third wall, but very different types of puzzle solving, types of shit that I've never seen in an MMO.
That's pretty awesome. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah.
I haven't really done any research on the Secret World since you've been mentioning it. I just did some quick searches on it. I like that it's modern. It's more modern. Yeah. So it's not actually a medieval type MMO, which is the majority of MMOs.
The reason I'm laughing is because last time me and my buddies played, for whatever, I don't know what possessed us to do this, but we decided to take a group selfie. Might I take the time to bring up this group selfie? Because it was something that, I mean, I was super proud of because it looked ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I'm going to call this a selfie with all of our characters. Most of us, 3 out of the 4 of us, made our characters to look like ourselves in game, like to look like our likeness in game.
Okay.
But one of us decided to like build something to look like a clown. So I'm gonna open this bitch up, and
is this gonna be an OBS? Is it gonna be large?
You're going to look upon my pictures, ye mighty, and despair. Boom! Right there. This is quality. So the guy on the left, far left, is Brad. Guy in the yellow clown getup is Corey. Corey does not actually look like a clown in real life most of the time. Sometimes he does. So he was the one that deviated a little bit. Then there's Britt who's got the headphones on, and then myself with the chainsaw. I do not wield chainsaws normally. So again, I don't quite know what possessed us to. I think we were messing around with like the UI settings, so we found the button that lets you hide the UI. We were like, oh guys, we should totally use this, and wonderful things. I want to make that my Facebook timeline photo, just the 4 of us with the chainsaw.
I feel like you all should be in Left 4 Dead. Picture. Like that's what it seems like to me. Yes. That is hilarious.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Elite comment said, "Go slaughter 40 rabbits so I can feel good about myself." World of Warcraft. That is true. World of Warcraft, every fucking quest is either I'm too lazy to do this, so please go do this for me. Please get that book off that shelf.
I require 78 rabbit scrotums.
Yes.
I'm making a necklace.
Please. One of my favorite quests was in Outland, and you had to siphon through the shit of a Talbuk to get these cherries out of it because they eat cherries, and it allowed you to breathe underwater. I don't know how that worked, but it did.
Oh, I love it. And yeah, Conman, just as a quick review, the game is called The Secret World. It is on Steam. It's normally $30. Personally, I would recommend holding out for a Steam sale that'll be probably starting up in a little bit.
Yeah.
The day I bought it was the day before it went 66% off, so that's $20 that I didn't need anyway. Am I right? But yeah, it's $30 full price. There's no monthly fee. The game includes the first 3 issues, which is like chapters. There's like 3 more chapters that you can buy optionally for like really DLC or expansions, if you will. None of us have bought it just because we haven't made it far enough into the game, but I've put like 60-something hours into this game, so I've gone pretty far into it and am yet to hit anything that requires that extra content, so it's there if you want it, but at the minimum I would say, yeah, hold off for a Steam sale just because $30, you know how that goes. But it is on Steam, and the no monthly fee thing is nice. It used to have a monthly fee. I think when it first came out a number of years back, it had the monthly subscription deal, but they decided to jettison that in favor of just the one-time payment, which I'm okay with. But yes, it is a lot of fun. It's the first MMO that I've found really any major enjoyment with, so it's something that I'm still adjusting to, playing an MMO and liking it. It's weird, but so far so good. That's been the big one. How about you? What you been playing?
I think I want to check it out, but I'll wait for the Steam sale.
Yeah, that's the recommendation I would give to just about anyone.
I mean, I'll opt to try any MMO that comes out. So.
Yeah.
For the past week, I've just been playing WoW, just kind of off and on. Played it when I was out of town, and then played it a little bit over the weekend. Leveling my druid up, he's almost 100, and then I think I'm actually just gonna play my monk for the period that I decide to play how long I'll play this game. So, other than that, I'm kind of I didn't know, but I was just checking like games that came out this week. Final Fantasy X and X-2 on the PS4 actually came out.
Oh, cool.
The remaster. I think I'm gonna pick that up because Amanda is kind of getting interested in playing a Final Fantasy game, so
nice.
I'll probably start her off with that one, so she doesn't have to start off with something clunky like Final Fantasy VII, which is an amazing game. I love Final Fantasy VII. It's my favorite game, but it's fucking clunky, and anyone this day and age tries to fucking pick it up and try to play it, especially someone who isn't really keen on. Oh, this is such a retro game, Like, if you weren't there at the time, it's not as good as it could be.
I'm guilty of that, too.
So, I'm probably going to start off on Final Fantasy X, because the HD remake is actually pretty good. It's really solid, and then it comes with X2, which is... personally, I don't really care for the game. The story-wise, game shit... gameplay-wise, actually, the game's awesome.
So
the
I've heard,
game's incredibly fun, gameplay-wise, with, like, trigger actions and stuff like that, so... I think I actually might pick that up on PS4 to kind of have it on. That'll mean I'll have it on every fucking device that they have offered it now. So, next week is actually The Witcher. The Witcher's next week. I've been trying to con Amanda into letting me purchase it next week.
Say hi, Dexter. Adjust your
He
bow
doesn't
tie.
want to look at the. He doesn't.
He gets shy.
He needs a tie.
Yeah. He's got the bow tie.
He does have the bow tie.
Yeah.
He needs a suit.
He
and then a desk.
At one point, the groomers gave him a necktie, which was adorable for a number of reasons, because he kept tripping on it when he would try to walk. So I had a lot of enjoyment from him suffering, but yes, the 10/10 it's a bundle, right?
It is a bundle, yeah. So it's a bundle. I think it's probably end up going to be $40. I think the bundle is.
That's reasonable.
You can probably pick it up for somewhere cheaper. Places typically have codes. Then you can just pick it up for cheap and then enter the code through PS Store.
I can dig it. That sounds awesome.
Elder Scrolls Online. So Elite Conman said that he doesn't have a good setup right now for PC. He's struggling with the Xbox. So are you struggling with? I'm guessing you're struggling with the Xbox 360. I guess you do not have an Xbox One yet. Also ESO.
Because you've tried ESO.
I have tried ESO. I played during the betas of ESO. I played alpha and then I played beta, and the game's rough. I will give it that. The game's rough. It's fun gameplay for just a little bit, and then but if you want to play with other people, I don't think it's the game that you would kind of want to do. I'd say if you're on PC, I guess the only thing you really can play on, I guess the only MMO that really is out for that is ESO. I guess
that's something I know of.
I was gonna say if you had a PlayStation, you could play PlanetSide, but it's not really an MMO, but it'd be able to kind of hold you off.
Yeah.
If you want me to try to price out a good PC build for you, I mean, I'll gladly do that as well. So you can just let me know. Elite Dangerous. Yes. Okay. So Elite Dangerous has sparked my interest a lot. I'm still waiting to get an actual good joystick. I don't want to get a shitty joystick for that game.
Yeah.
I really want my experience to be really good. Okay, so Elite Conman has an Xbox One, I said. So,
cool.
Elite Dangerous, I definitely plan on picking it up. I want to pick it up, though, when I don't have anything to play. And I don't have anything that I'm planning to play, because that's kind of something I want to set down and play and do. I have heard that after you kind of get past the initial phases of getting your ship and mining for the first time and stuff like that, it becomes a really dull game. Like there isn't a lot you can do. The way that the game's set up is it's clustered out, so there can only be 64 people in a cluster, I think they said.
Oh, really?
Or maybe only 32, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But one of the main things that they were trying to sell originally with Elite Dangerous was that they wanted to have giant space battles, but you really can't have that with only 32 people.
Yeah.
You can have great one-on-ones and you can have stuff like that, but I think if they were going for like a big clash against people, you might want to look into Star Citizen, to be honest.
Yeah,
so
I see that.
Star Citizen actually looks pretty neat with the fact that you can actually board their ship and take it over. You can actually take over their ship and then sell it for junk. So, I mean, you can really fuck somebody over. Neverwinter. I didn't even know Neverwinter was still going on.
Yeah, I know Neverwinter. I think I know there's a free to play on the piece on Steam at least, and I guess it's also on consoles, which is pretty nice. I know that I don't know. I've never played Neverwinter. I played DDO a little bit, but haven't really had any direct experience with Neverwinter. I've heard mixed things, but that could mean anything, honestly. Have you had any exposure to Neverwinter before?
No, I played. Well, I didn't really play. I watched my friends play Neverwinter back when I was first starting my PC gaming area, and that's whenever people really like built a character and then built like a backstory for it, and then they had the Neverwinter kind of was cool because they had that level creator, so like you could create your own levels. Well, a lot of people that I watched play created their own level for their own character and basically was like, this is where he lives, and this, and then kind of made like a giant, like, it is mostly just a Dungeons and Dragons story for the character. I never actually seen any real gameplay of the game. I don't know what it was about. I don't know the story or anything. I just know that a lot of people, that's how they set up their D&D character that they had in their mind. When Neverwinter came out, they were able to kind of put that onto like a platform where you could see it.
Right.
So.
Well, and I know with the Neverwinter game that's on Steam, because I know there was Neverwinter Nights back in the day, which is what I first thought of, but apparently the Neverwinter Steam game, or PC game at least, is like a free-to-play. Like, I think it's a departure from the Neverwinter that we know and love.
Okay.
So I assume it's the same basic lore.
Elite Comment says it's a downgraded WoW.
Oh, okay. That I did not know. All right.
Gotcha.
We're learning.
Yes. Let me get into our first topic here.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, GTA 5 released on PC, and then the mods surely came after because they were having a hard time initially getting mods out for the game because everything was locked.
Right.
Well, they finally came out with the trainer, and then the trainer we kind of talked about last week. I was able to, you're able to fucking fly around as like a whale and stuff like that. Like it's really fun. Well, then Rockstar started hammering down on people who played these mods. Like they basically, if you loaded into the game, they were locking people's accounts or banning your account from actually
playing online. Yeah.
For playing online and playing single player because you actually have to use Rockstar's server to log into the game.
Oh, that I did not know.
So Rockstar kind of started being a little lenient with single player mods. The bad thing is people need to learn to turn off mods before they enter GTA 5.
Yeah, I think that's
turn off before they enter GTA 5 online.
Right,
they need to learn to take them off, or kind of cancel them. But the trainer I had, I know, canceled itself as soon as I went into online, so it just didn't even register that it was there. But I don't know how I feel about them banning accounts wide for using mods in single player. That upset me initially because the whole reason that I really purchased the game, I purchased the game a lot for me to have a sandbox game. Yeah. And that was like 80% of my purchase, 20% being to play with my friends online.
Right.
So the sandbox portion, I'm having a blast with it. I love it. Like when I'm bored with some other games, I just go back to this. I can go around, kill people, fly up in the fucking air.
Damn right.
Superman everywhere.
Yep.
Fly through like I can do anything I want in that game, and that's what makes it so good. It's kind of replaced Kerbal, and it kind of replaced like Just Cause 2. Like Just Cause 2 is out the window now because now I can do everything that I did in Just Cause 2. I can do in this game
until Just Cause 3 comes out.
Right. I logged in the other day with my trainer on. Nothing seemed to happen to my account yet.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that most people are safe to go ahead and play single player. I would not take the mods online. There is a new mod. What is it? Mod loader. You can actually. It's kind of like. Have you ever used Skyrim's mod loader where like you can? No. So like you can. It basically is mod loader. Mod manager. It's a mod manager. So. There's quite a bit of mods coming out for the game. It's gonna turn out really good. I know that Ice is working on actually upgrading his graphic mod. So I don't know how you can make the graphics any better, but I'm sure someone's gonna push the fucking graphic cards to the max.
Probably.
So how do you feel about the way the Rockstar kind of handled that?
Well, and I know that there were some mixed reports because I think, God, it might have been like the day after last week's stream when we were talking about mods and such, just at a general level. I was on Vent with some of my friends, and one of them mentioned that, kind of like what you described, where Rockstar had been banning a lot of people, and I just did some Google searches. All of us kind of in the chat did some Google searches and found all these first-hand accounts of people saying, hey, I've been modding my game only in single player, and I found that I can't get online. There have been a couple people, and this was the weird case, where people were playing an unmodded game, somebody who's modding the game would hop online, successfully get online, and then throw them a bunch of money and then leave.
That's right. You were telling me about that. Yeah.
And then the person who received the money, the person who was not modded in the game but received modded money, got banned from multiplayer.
Or maybe I think it was Brad who was actually telling me about that. Brad was telling me that some guy jumped into an online game and some guy was like, I don't want money, I want to play normal.
Yeah.
And the guy was just pumping money out of his gun, and it was just loading this guy up, and he's like, I have $10 million, this game's ruined.
Yeah, there were, and people were getting banned over, without any control on their part, they're getting banned over it. And it was, from what I understand, there's like I don't know what you would call it, but there's like apparently a number of mods that are built around doing that specifically to target other players to get them banned, like as a trolling kind of thing, which to me is a shitty thing to troll over, because, it's one thing to troll them and, have all fun in games, but to, like, get them banned from a game, that's kind of shitty. So yeah, these reports were all happening, and then Rockstar comes out and says, no, we're not going to ban on single player, based on single player things, which flies in the face of some of these cases. So there's the question of, are there things that these individual cases aren't telling us, or is Rockstar being tight-lipped about something that they're trying to hide from us? That I don't know. So either way, we're not getting the full story.
Yeah.
It does seem like that's kind of died down in the past couple of days. I haven't heard much from it ever since. So maybe by now it's been resolved, or at least being addressed one way or the other. But yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to have much of a dog in this fight since I don't have GTA 5 yet. But it's only a matter of time before I pick it up. And
apparently, people are still being banned for the duped money. So apparently, that's still happening. That sucks.
Yeah, I see.
That really does suck.
Yeah, that is really unfortunate.
I guess in that sense, there's no way to really stop. I mean, there's no way to stop people from going online with it unless people make offline mods only, in a way that Rockstar can kind of make it. Well, see, the bad thing is people abuse the system, and this is why we have always online DRM bullshit.
Yep.
Okay, so this is what happens, and this is why there is always online DRM, is because people want to cheat, and if people want to cheat, they're going to cheat at every way possible.
Yeah.
And so bringing everything into online, pumping people full of money, that's just how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have no doubt that a lot of it is automated, so that there's not like a network of Rockstar techs that are like watching the servers. I'm sure this is the kind of stuff where if it sees an account with a bodacious amount of money that they didn't earn, then it's just going to auto-ban them, because that automation is just how you do that stuff. So there are people that are innocently getting banned, without any
association.
Yeah. So it's I wish there was a easy way of addressing the solution, but yeah, that's something that Rockstar will hopefully look to address it soon. I mean, they don't want to stifle the creativity of mods, because, let's be honest, that's a huge portion of why the PC games do so well.
Yeah, and that's why the PC version of GTA 4 did so well, was because of mods.
Yep.
I mean, if there wasn't mods for GTA 4, no one would have really bought it past, 4 years.
Yeah.
And people are still buying, people were still buying up until GTA 5.
Yeah.
I'm sure people still buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was even a new mod release for Back to the Future. There was the Back to the Future mod that just came out for GTA 4.
That's awesome. I love it. Oh, man.
That is upsetting. I wish Rockstar kind of had a better idea of how to deal with it, but I'm sure they'll figure something out.
Hopefully in due time.
Yeah, and hopefully people that have been kind of shadow banned and people that have been, I shouldn't say shadow banned, blanket banned on servers, and the people who have been banned for single player, I hope they kind of get their accounts back pretty soon and are able to continue playing. We'll go over some more topics.
Sure.
Finding times to play as an adult. You sent me this the other day, and it was pretty good because we both have full-time jobs. I mean, I'm in a relationship. I have a girlfriend at home, and I still find time. Pretty adequate amount of times to play. I think it's all in all what you do.
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, if you have a lot of activity, like gaming is my hobby personally. So like. I find time to do my hobby, kind of like how anyone else would. People who work on cars or people who like the outdoors, they find a way to do it. You just got to find a balance. The balance is, like, for mine, is that when I get home, like, when I leave work is like, and it, like, just brushes off.
Yeah.
I don't even think about work anymore. And then, what's in 4K? Oh, GTA 4 is in 4K? Is that what the fuck you're saying? Graphics overall?
Oh, I see that the comment was asking about the overhaul mods,
I like to see graphics.
or mentioning the overhaul mods.
Okay, anyways, let me get back on topic.
Sure.
So, like, when I leave work, I come home, and then, like, I usually make dinner or something, and then after that, me and Amanda spend some time together, and then I'll either play games late at night, kind of where she's wanting to go to bed, or we'll both play games. You know, like, it's generally a kind of like a mutual thing, because you never want to make the person you're living with angry, especially not if you're in a relationship. What's the point of being in a relationship at that point?
Yeah.
So, you know, you just got to kind of find time, and I think I find pretty ample time. I mean, I was able to, well, I've been out of town, but I was able to put like 26 hours into GTA 5 already.
Nice.
And then, like, I mean, over the past, I've been together for 4 years, and I've been easily able to play WoW and all that. So, I mean, you just got to find your time. So, how do you feel? You know, like, how do you find times, you know, to play as an adult? I know you are a busy man.
As we all are. We all have our hobbies and our full-time jobs, or if you're in college, or if you're in school, or doing even working part-time jobs. I mean, a lot of that stuff definitely does add up. Social lives, pets, friends. There's a lot of things that go into it. I know that my good buddy Nick, with whom I used to work back when I used to work at Borders, way back in the many moons ago while I was still in college. We've kept in touch on Facebook, and I sadly don't get to see him a whole lot, but I remember he commented on the Facebook link that you had posted, saying, "Well, it was great getting to watch your guys' stream and whatnot, and it's nice to get my fix of video game related things since I never get to play games anymore," which was what sparked the idea. I know that he's got a family, he's got a house, he's got a little girl, he's got a wife, and I think at least one dog and at least one cat. So I mean, they've got. And
I'm sure he has his hands full.
He does. There's always projects around the house. There's always things to be done. There's always things that need to be fixed. I'm sure a lot of that is just the joy of being a homeowner, just in general.
Yeah, and
even if you're single. And
well, another thing is that he has a kid. You know, I don't have a child, and you don't have a child, so we really can't relate to how that is. I mean, I'm sure it's a full-time job.
Yeah,
absolutely. Especially with if you have a small child.
Yeah,
I feel like a kid that's under 5 years old.
Yeah.
Who really, you know, a kid under 5 that really isn't going to entertain themselves, which they sometimes will, but you know, it's going to be here and there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I could see how that would be a pretty big issue.
And he works as a nurse, so I mean, you know, like nurses aren't already overworked as it is, but pulling some crazy hours and, you know, not always for the best of benefits. So he has to work his ass off.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, if he works in the medical field, it's 12-hour days, 3 days.
At least.
3 12-hour days, and then usually off 2 days, I think is how it goes.
Yeah, and of course covering shifts for other people. I mean, he's putting in more than his fair share. But yeah, I mean, I see Nick as a good example of someone who definitely enjoys nerdy things like video games and such. And he has a lot of great hobbies, and he's a very talented individual with a lot of the hobbies that he does. Shout outs to Nick if you're watching. But but yeah, I when I saw him talk about that, it struck me, because it's something that as we all get older and as we all enter, in some cases, you know, people are still in high school, or if they're just getting into college, entering adulthood, or even exiting college, really getting into adulthood and getting things like full-time jobs, or at least the job market or job hunting. There's a lot there, and there's a lot that becomes a lot more time-consuming than you might think. It seems like the 40-hour work week is becoming more and more elusive as time goes on. It seems like a lot of people are putting in much more than 40 hours. Yeah. So free time in general is at a premium.
I mean, I work out of town a lot. I mean, when I'm out of town, it's usually way more than a 40-hour work week. I mean, like, in the 40-hour work week at work, I mean, I strive to make it in at 7 and then leave at 4, right? So, like, I make it, that's, like, my goal is to be able to get there on time, leave on time. But a lot of times it doesn't happen. A lot of times I am there for an extra hour or so, you know, and it's just, that's how it goes. And if you work a salary job, they don't really care. So, I mean, you are getting paid the same amount no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something that you have to make time for. I mean, I miss the days where I was like maybe an early teenager or still in school, where I could come home at, you know, after school at 2 o'clock and play till 9. You know, like I just had that whole time, and that kind of goes into the way. I don't want to stray too far, but like with World of Warcraft, I remember all these days, man, and I tried to pick it up so many times where I was able to raid and I was able to experience all this stuff. Well, it's the fact that I was able to play for 9 to 10 hours out of the day.
Yep.
You know, like I was actually able to put in that much amount of time. When you kind of play that game and you only have 2 or 3 hours to put in, maybe a day, some of that stuff you kind of got to throw out the window. You just kind of got to focus on other things. And honestly, you know, sometimes you just want to play different games.
Yeah.
I was talking with my friend Eric the other day, and I was telling him, you know, hey, I picked back up WoW.
Yeah.
And
and
I wasn't trying to get him to come back or anything, but he was like, he was like,
I know how that goes.
he was like, well, you know, like, I don't want to come back to WoW. And I was like, oh, I fully understand that. I can get that. And he kind of said he feels like when he gets bored in the game, he just makes a new character.
Yeah.
And then he levels it up again, only to find the same thing again, which is you get bored and you make a new character.
Right. Yeah. You kind of plateau.
I'm gonna have like 5 max level characters here in a minute, and I'm in the same boat he is. You know, you get old. You know, it's not that it gets old, but it gets boring to a point, and you're like, well, I want something new, so I'm gonna make something else. And he's like, well, I could spend that I could spend the time that I'm leveling that new character. I could spend it playing a different game, and I'm like, you know, that's actually a pretty good idea. Because I actually do that myself. Like, whenever I do get bored with WoW, I go to like GTA or something. I play that. I've played multiple RTS games.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just bound to happen. You just kind of got to split it up. So, and you just find games that you like and you enjoy. So, it's hard to find a game that you want to spend, like, because there's so many games out there now that like, there isn't enough time in a day to actually play them. So,
ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yeah, and shout outs to Conman. I know he mentioned he's in the transition looking for a new job. It's I know your pain. That's something like I was telling Justin.
Oh my God.
Only now completed. So it's that transitional period takes a lot of work, as I'm sure you're finding or have already found.
And I've only been in the position once where I've actually transitioned a job and I actually would quit the job beforehand before getting the job. That is the scariest part.
Oh,
that is like the most scary. I mean, that happened a long time ago where I wasn't really in need of a dire amount of money, but it's scary whenever you leave a job and you have no idea where the hell you're going.
Yeah,
you know, like you're like, what am I going to do? Is this how people like? I don't know how people live. On that, you know, like it's very scary. I cannot imagine me getting fired tomorrow and then me trying to search for a job.
Oh yeah, that
sounds like the scariest thing. Ever.
Well, man, at my previous employer, there was it became known as Black Thursday amongst those of us who remained because about 500 people walked out the door from layoffs, and you know it put a dent in morale, so to speak, and that's part of why I'm now sitting here as a non-employee of that place because I was already decided that I was going to leave, but that was a good reassuring to know that it's good that you're getting out of here because that's that kind of stuff.
When that many people leave,
get laid off rather.
Get laid off. Yeah.
It's one thing to leave of your own volition, but to be told your
leaving.
position is being terminated or being moved to a different location and there's nothing you can do about it. Sorry, we know you've been with the company for like 20 years, but we cool, bro. That kind of rubs people the wrong way. So
it does. And man, that upsets me so.
Yeah, it was upsetting, but yeah, just in regards to like how that all fits in with gaming, like trying to find time with all these very grown up issues. Like Justin mentioned, I think you made a really good example with World of Warcraft, how that can like doing a raid for that can take multiple hours. And I'm finding that with the Secret World, I can only really do those really crazy investigation quests on weekends because some of them can take several hours.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes.
You have to make time for it, you know, and then sometimes you just cannot do it. You know, you don't have the amount of time required to do it.
Sometimes certain games are built more for the bite-sized chunks rather than the World of Warcraft multi-hour raids. I know that's one thing that's one reason I think that mobile gaming has, mobile as in cell phones and tablets and such, has exploded as much as it is. Because adults are busy.
Adults are busy, and you can pick it up and put it down at any time. It's really nice. That makes it really nice. My Vita, for instance, I can like whenever I go out to the couch or something, and Amanda's doing something, cleaning up something or something like that. I just click it.
Yep.
And I turn it on. I'm back right where I was. Because Vita save states, so I can click right back. I play for 5-10 minutes. You know, I do some battles in Final Fantasy or something, and then she comes in and we watch TV or something, or we watch Hulu or Netflix, you know, and I click it off. I mean, it's good to have that kind of leeway because I am very much addicted to video games.
Yeah.
I mean, it's part of my life. Like,
I hear
people that come into my life have to understand that this is what I love. Like,
yeah.
But being able to like pick up the Vita for 10 minutes at a time and being able to set it down, it's like I would guess the equivalent of being able to go outside and smoke. That's what I imagine. Like I imagine it'd be like the equivalent of me going outside and smoking like 2 cigarettes and then coming back in. You know, like I guess that's how an odd addiction feels.
Yeah. So. If he doesn't get games for a while, he starts tweaking a little bit. And
starts scratching my neck.
Yeah.
Ark says it's hard to find good multiplayer games lately. I think my last great group game was Terraria or Star whatever it's. Which ability? What is that? Starbound? Is that what that game was?
Oh my god, I love
Wasn't
Terraria.
Starbound technically like Terraria?
That was done. I think the artist, like one of the artists from Terraria, did a lot of work for Starbound as well. So yes, stylistically and mechanically, they're both similar.
Yeah.
And I love those games so much. Oh my god, I love Terraria and Starbound so much. But they are 2 very different games, and multiplayer-wise, they are fantabulous.
Yeah.
So I love that shit so much.
I've been actually looking into picking up Spelunky. How was that? Was that good? I know you played quite a bit of it.
I love Spelunky so much. I love that game. I really do enjoy, well, and I know there's debate over the terminology, but I'll just call it a roguelike, or at least a roguelike. The games where there's random generation in the levels, and there's permadeath, and usually the odds are stacked very heavily against you, and usually it's victory by brute force of just throwing dead bodies at it until you learn, really. Yes, and it's Spelunky, for those who don't know. You play, I guess the character's name is Spelunky, where he's a little explorer guy, I think Indiana Jones. He actually has a whip as his main melee attack. But you are exploring deeper and deeper into these caverns. You explore all these different biomes, so you start in a cavernous area, then it turns into like an underground jungle, then to an ice cave, and then to like a temple area. And there's actually more beyond that, but no spoilers. But it's you go deeper and deeper, and of course, the further you go, the harder the game gets. You have health, and there are 1 or 2 ways that I can immediately think of to replenish health, but ways to do so are very limited, and usually come at quite a challenge. So the game is very much stacked against you. You acquire wealth and gold and riches, and you use those riches to buy more gear, more tools to help you in your journey. But more likely than not, you will fail, and you will learn from the failure, and because the levels are randomly generated, the architecture, the general layout is going to be different, and you have to kind of learn how to learn the game, if that makes any sense. You learn how to adapt more than any specific things, but you learn how some of the enemies work and some of the different weapons or items at least. It is an awesome game. It was originally developed by Derek Yu, who is the same developer for Aquaria. If anyone ever played that,
I never even heard of it.
Really good one. That's like a 2D adventure,
side-scroller
adventure game. That came out. I remember years back, and it's all like 99.9% of it is all underwater. Really, really cool game. It's one I would definitely recommend. But yeah, Derek Yu has done a lot of really cool stuff. But the 2 big ones for me are Aquaria and Spelunky. There's a new version of Spelunky, well, newish, that came out for the PC and the Xbox 360 and the PS3, and also I'm sure PS4 and Xbox One. That has like HD graphics and such, and that's the one that's on Steam. And it's a paid version. The original Spelunky was a free game. But and both versions are fantastic. They both have different quips. Some I like with the original more, some I like the new one, so I don't really have an opinion on which one I like more, but they're both very unique gaming experiences. And as far as a game that teaches you how to adapt and how to establish really good basic skills, so that way you can throw a dungeon at you and a dungeon that you've never seen before and will likely never see again, that you just figured out as you go. It's one of my favorites. It's one of those good, well, in most cases, it's one of those good play 15 minutes and stop games. And I say that because 15 minutes, that's enough time for me to die about 3 times. The game itself, if you go all the way through, could take a couple hours, but, I mean, come on. It's a really tough game. I've only beaten the original Spelunky 3 times. I've never beaten the new one. So, and I looked at my stats not too long ago for the original one. I think I've made about 400 attempts. And probably about 100 on the new one. So that's roughly 500 attempts
Man.
and only 3 victories. So the game does not fuck around, but it's awesome. I love Spelunky so much. And boy, are we off topic. I love that game so much. Oh my god. Oh man.
I wanted to go into another topic.
Yeah.
So we can kind of
No, that's
break
a good transition.
Good transition.
Yeah.
Speaking of kind of like more platforming games, something we didn't mention earlier, but Bloodstained Ritual Ritual of the Night, which is going to be the spiritual successor to Castlevania series. Looks awesome. I'm actually kind of excited about it. I haven't played a side scroller in a while. I've kind of been one to. I actually downloaded Guacamelee on PS4. Not too. It was on PS Plus this month.
Yeah.
For free. So actually, I downloaded that on my Vita and on the PS4.
No.
I'm pretty excited to start playing that. I can't remember the last time I played a side-scrolling game.
Oh man.
But I'm pretty excited about it. And then the other day I was watching Kind of Funny Games.
Yeah.
So Colin and Greg were talking about. Or had an interview with the developer, or with, what's his name? Koji...
Oh, cool.
Koji Igarashi. Yeah. And he had like a translator and stuff. And I ended up watching the whole hour and a half interview with him. The guy is an incredibly down-to-earth developer. Really awesome. Super Indiana Jones. Like, I mean, he is like the Asian Indiana Jones. Like, in real life. Like, the guy is crazy. But, yeah,
Love it.
The game looks cool. I just kind of wanted to bring it up for a second because it reminds me of these games like Castlevania and then also kind of Mega Man.
Yeah.
Having a reboot, not being called their Castlevania or Mega Man, but essentially being the same game, being rebooted and being funded so early.
Yep.
I mean, he only wanted $500,000 and he got $1.8 million, and he still has 30 days to go.
The backers made it rain, man. I love it.
So I just kind of wanted to cover that briefly.
Yeah. Oh, and I love, in all those cases where Konami in the case of Castlevania or Capcom in the case of Mega Man, they have the rights to the name, and even though those 2 developers, and we were actually talking about this just last week, where like with Capcom and Konami, they're kind of sitting on those franchises, not really doing much with them, much to the chagrin of all of us gamers who enjoy those series, but the original designers and developers from it's like, well, shit, man, I've got all these ideas, and you're not going to give me the funding for it. Fuck you! I'll take my ideas elsewhere and have people crowdfund it. And we've got, we've got the Castlevania spiritual successor. We've got the Banjo-Kazooie spiritual successor.
Yeah.
And man, oh man, hype train!
Awesome.
Oh, I'm so excited for Yooka-Laylee. Holy shit, my hype cannot be
I've only
sustained.
beat Banjo-Kazooie once, and I only remember bits and parts of it because it was when I was such a little kid playing it. So weird thinking about that game because I had such a fucking odd setup on my 64 at the time. My TV actually broke, right? And a friend of mine, my friend at the time, my friend Dan, a guy that he used to come over to his house all the time, was one of the friends of the family. He was like, I have this old computer monitor, and it was literally an old computer monitor. This thing had to be like early 90s, probably, color monitor. Because it had dials on it that I could control the contrast and the brightness of it.
Damn.
It was like a 20, as I say, 18 or 20 inch, or probably 18 inch, 17, 18 inch computer monitor, fucking box monitor. And he cut my wires for my video, my video, and then spliced it into it, so it read into the monitor.
Oh man, that's cool.
And that's how I played Banjo-Kazooie.
That is
on that fucking
awesome.
Yeah,
man.
It was crazy.
That's so cool.
Thinking about it, I went through so many TVs as a kid for some reason. Like, I'm thinking about it, and I had like 5 TVs in like the stint of like 3 years.
I think you're cursed, man.
One of them dropped. I'll never forget one of them. One of them actually dropped from my dresser because I had it sitting on my dresser, and it dropped, and it was only hanging out by the coaxial cable, but that was also pulled out. Yeah, it didn't work after that, but.
I think you're cursed, man.
But Banjo-Kazooie, I'm actually pretty excited about.
Oh yeah, Yooka-Laylee is going to be... I mean, I'm not going to say it's going to be awesome, because it could flop for all I know, but I'm excited. I'm very hopeful. The fact that it's got so many at least, of the old team on it, even down to Grant Kirkhope doing parts of the soundtrack, and they also got the guy who did the Donkey Kong Country Returns soundtrack contributing as well, so I mean, oh man, I'm so freaking hype. I love those games so damn much, it's disgusting.
Art brings up a good question. How do you guys feel about the new style of kickstarting by developers versus the old school style of having investments from companies?
So,
I think it's cool. I think it gives kind of people what they want, and it doesn't require them to do much.
Yeah.
Because all they really need is the money to start with the development team, and they kind of get that from the people who want the game instead of a company coming out and be like, hey, would you mind giving us some money? Or, hey, we have this new game coming. I like it.
Yeah.
It kind of shows you what people want. And he obviously knew that people wanted this new Castlevania game, and he did it.
Yeah.
He went out and was like, I'm going to make a new Castlevania game.
YOLO.
Who wants you to make it?
Yep.
And everyone was like, fuck, here.
All the money.
Please, take this money. Please to God. And it's the same with the Mega Man.
Yep.
I mean, everyone really wanted a Mega Man game.
Damn right.
And you're getting it.
Mighty Number 9. Oh, I'm excited.
Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I think it's cool that the way they do that. I wish Kickstarter was a little bit better. I wish it... Well, there's no problem with Kickstarter, I should say. It's kind of like a personal preference. I wish there was some way for people not to get fucked by... And I've went over it before, which is...
Yeah.
Giving money to someone who doesn't actually put out their products. So.
Yeah, it happens. It does happen.
Brad ended up buying... I'll never forget the worst one. Brad bought like a $500 3D printer. So he backed a 3D printing company. It was like 2 years ago.
Oh. Boy.
Last year, they emailed him and said, yeah, we're thinking about sending it out. And then he canceled. And then just as of like, I don't know, 2 months ago, I think, they started actually producing.
Oh, wow.
But not. But they were bought out by like a different company.
Oh,
yeah, it was fucking stupid.
So that's the whole point of a Kickstarter, is that you wouldn't need to seek fund. Yeah, I'm
exactly
redundant by this point.
Yeah.
But yes, jeez. Yeah, I have strongly mixed feelings about Kickstarter. The knee-jerk reaction to most Kickstarter projects, at least especially that are more aimed towards software development or game development, is, oh man, this is awesome, and I have no doubt that this is what we need because the game developers have a better sense of what they want to do versus businessmen who've never touched a video game in their life. And the game developers have all the know-how they need to make this game into a reality, and I'm extremely biased because I am also a software developer, so I think that software developers can do no wrong. But, the big but in all this is that software developers do not always make the best businessmen. And I know that we've covered this a little bit with the whole Tim Schafer thing and the whole Peter Molyneux thing. Developers that have pie-in-the-sky great ideas and get a fuck ton of money for it, but maybe it's not that they mismanage the money or that things...
True.
Or that it's something on their part, but unexpected things come up, delays with software of like, I don't know, like conversions from one platform to the other, or trying to fandangle this new server environment that they've never worked with before and trying to hire the right guy that can do it. Man, oh man, there's so many things that can go wrong. There's something to be said to have that publisher safety net, that the crowdfunding thing, I mean, after that big lump of money, you can't just say, oh, by the way, we need more money. That's not gonna fucking happen, come on. So, it's the kind of thing where if it's done right, it's great, but that how it's done right, that's where it gets tricky, and that's where there really aren't any correct answers. It's something that I think is only going to become more prevalent probably over the next couple years. It's hard to say long term if that'll become like the strategy to get big games made. I'm hopeful that it will, that now that there is more, I guess, attention towards the Tim Schafer stuff and the Peter Molyneux stuff, cases where money does end up, again, not being mismanaged, because that makes it sound like it's something on their part, but things come up and things end up costing more than the expected sum. Because it seems like what happens is that if a Kickstarter project meets its goal, it like hits it right on the nose, then none of the stretch goals are met, that's fine, we can just go with the base idea. If you have a bunch of stretch goals, not stress goals, stretch goals, then that more than likely increases the complexity of the game. And when you increase complexity, that's more chances of more things going wrong, and that's where it gets weird. So, I just don't know. I'm hopeful for Yooka-Laylee. I'm hopeful for the Castlevania reboot. And most signs are looking pretty good for Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
And as we discussed, there have been success stories with Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Pillars of Eternity is the one that immediately pops to mind because I've heard nothing but awesome things.
Awesome reviews for it, yeah.
But it has to be done right, and there's really no textbook on how do Kickstarter a game. How do I Kickstarter a game? It's such a complex issue and such a complex way to do things.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to have the right developer mind, but also the right business mind behind it. And even then, I think the odds are stacked against your favor. So it can work, but it's fucking tough. But I don't know. I think that's how you could say most things about game development in general. It can work, but it's fucking tough. Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Hooray!
Yeah, there
Optimism.
we go.
Woo! Feels good, man.
So let's see. Somebody said something in chat here just now.
Yeah. There came an echo. That's another good example. Yeah. Yeah, that... In fact... Is that out officially? I can't remember. I know that I follow Will Wheaton on Twitter and Facebook and all this stuff. I know he was posting about it a month or two ago. That's actually all he posts. He just posts lyrics to that song.
That song?
That song. Not even parts from the movie. But
how old is Will Wheaton? When did that movie fucking come out?
I think he's probably in his 40s, if I had to guess. Maybe 50s would be stretching it. I would say 40s.
I actually used to watch that movie religiously as a kid.
Oh yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah, me and my brothers used to watch it, and then whenever I heard Will Wheaton was like a techie gamer guy, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he seems like such an awesome person. I would like to meet him. A couple of my friends met him at Gen Con. They actually played games with him. A few of them had no idea who he was, and a couple others knew who he was, and they were trying to play it off and be cool, but
it's weird.
But he apparently he just goes around and just play games with people.
Yeah.
He won't. He gets kind of weird about photographs, but if he sees somebody taking a picture, he will photobomb you. So he just seems like a really fun, cool dude who embraces the fact that he's fairly well known, but doesn't really. He seems not very comfortable with the whole celebrity thing, but likes interacting with people. Like I think he's doing celebritying correctly.
Yeah, I think that's good.
But yeah, there came an echo. I know that. And it's out. Oh, 42. Nice. That's a good number. Thank you for confirming. But yeah, there came an echo is a game that was kickstarted, and yeah, thank you for confirming that it's out officially. A couple of my buddies backed it. I think I only heard about it. I think I heard about it too late. I think it was my issue because I remember looking into it and seeing that it had already passed, but it had met its funding goal, so I didn't feel too bad. But yeah, I've heard a lot of really really cool things about it. I'm when it comes to voice command as a gaming input peripheral, that kind of stuff can be so weird and can be so tricky, but it sounds like that they're doing it right. And Benny Lava, oh shit, what's up, dude? Second on the left. Well, is it my left or
yes?
Yes, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes, whatever way you look at it.
Yes, that is always the right way to do it. But yeah, there's lots of great Kickstarter success stories out there. So it's not all a crapshoot. It's tricky, especially when you get the big numbers, like a lot of the ones we were talking about.
Yeah. Now, okay, so you came up with a good topic, was video games as an art form we can kind of go into.
Yeah.
Mentioning, like, Broken Age.
Yeah.
This is totally an art game.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of good art games, and I guess as an art form, what you're saying is like, could video games be conceived as art?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think people, designers spend a hell of a lot of time, especially graphical designers, graphical artists, spending a piss ton of time making these awesome scenes. One thing in particular that I really like was trying to think of Guild Wars. Guild Wars 2 actually had really cool drawn out scenes that they made. World of Warcraft recently had the Lords of War comic that they had just before the expansion, and that was fucking amazing.
Yep.
And did he mention Braid?
I love Braid.
Braid is awesome. I've never played it.
Oh.
I know exactly what it looks like. I know kind of what it is. Yeah, I would say that's definitely an art form.
Yeah.
And the one that I mentioned last week where you're black and white and you're kind of running across the forest. What is that game? Oh my god, what is that? I mentioned to you last week. You nailed it. It's...
Limbo?
Limbo.
Woo!
Limbo, absolutely.
2 for 2, baby.
There you go.
Hype.
Get hype. Oh, are we losing light?
A little bit.
Losing light?
I'm not too terribly OCD, but trying to keep them fairly consistent. I just don't want my face to melt. I just don't want my face to...
Okay, Fez is definitely artistic.
Ooh, Fez,
I have an issue with Fez, which is I fucking hate Phil Fish. So I will never buy that game.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Limbo, Justin! Limbo! It's like he's aggressively telling you to limbo.
I only wish that Twitch didn't have a delay so I could have seen that. Whatever. Yeah, Limbo was fucking awesome. That was such a great
Oh,
game.
man.
There's so many good games as
Yeah.
art form. I mean, honestly, I would say that PT could, the
Yeah,
trailer,
yeah, totally.
that game could have been something of art because I think in general all games could be art because like playing Final Fantasy or playing WoW, playing all these RPGs, anything like that. Like I don't know. I feel like any of it could be.
I'm loving it. Friggin' Betty
I
Love
hate
over
you,
here.
Pat.
Yeah, that's
I fucking hate you.
Pat never disappoints.
No.
And yeah, it's seems like it's a topic that's contested a lot. I know that. Oh, what was it? Was it Roger Ebert who was opposed to like video games ever being considered
he's
art?
too old.
Well, I mean, like it's a valid standpoint, a viewpoint at least, because I mean, and usually it's usually the viewpoint is adopted by older generations, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know people that are also younger that are kind of iffy about the whole video game art thing. But an art director
brings up a good point.
There's actually and Arc D-Badge, I'll be the first to admit I clearly know you. I don't recognize your screen name. If I had to guess, if we're talking about Braden Fez, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and suggest Anthony, maybe.
He'll tell you in a minute.
Well, we'll see with the Twitch delay,
Yes.
but you've been.
He also brought up Euphoria. I played a ton of Euphoria.
Oh, nice.
I played a lot of that game. I played it actually when it was called Dyson, back in its beta stages.
Dyson.
It was called Dyson,
Okay.
yeah. And that game was incredibly fun. It's basically you're taking over a planet, but you have these little plants that seed themselves. That game is incredibly fun. Yeah, I could see how that would be. I think more the art form. I guess to me, like, the games I see as more art-wise are independent games.
Yes.
Especially, so.
Adam, okay.
It's Adam.
Oh, okay. Well, because Adam, I remember your old screen name. Maybe this is it. Maybe this is the new screen name. Okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, definitely with indie games, that does seem to be the place to go for looking for the artsy fartsy stuff. Yeah. And yeah, a lot of the ones we mentioned, definitely with Limbo, Fez. I mean, a lot of these really awesome games. There's a gentleman whose name, I want to say Jason Royer, Rohrer. Hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. He focuses like exclusively on making really artsy fartsy games, and a lot of it comes down to like how do you define art? Something that, like, I guess if I had to just like put art into a box and give it a definition, I would say like something that's like something that someone creates to evoke an emotion. And you could, like you mentioned, you could get that out of just about any video game, really. A lot of video games evoke some sort of emotion, whether it be unbridled sadness with Braid, breaking my fucking heart, or unbridled rage with my fucking teammates in LoL because they can't fuckity fuck.
Thank you.
It happens. Or Dota 2 or what have you. But but Jason Royer does a lot of really cool stuff. There was one game he put out, and he makes like all super small games, puts them out for free, and lives only on donations, and is very much a modern day hippie, which is something I can appreciate. But he made one game that stirred up a lot of interest called Passage, where you play as a person. You start off as a little kid. It's a 2D plane. Think original Legend of Zelda, like general camera control style. And you walk around as you would expect with a Zelda-like control style. There are things you can pick up in game that have numbers associated to them. And it's kind of hard to tell what they are sometimes. Sometimes it's sometimes it's money, sometimes it's an article of clothing, but usually it'll have some sort of number associated to it. And you can go up, down, left, or right. Well, I'm sorry, you can go up and down. You cannot go left. You can only go right. And as you move, your character ages. So you start off as a baby, and you move fairly slow. You then get into childhood. You start moving faster, and you're a little bit more nimble. Adulthood, elderly. As you're older, you start to slow down a little bit. And then after a certain number of steps, you become a gravestone, and you die. And there is a score. The score really never amounts to much. And of course, since it's an indie artsy fartsy game, not a whole lot is explained or described. But my takeaway is that the things you're picking up, that's like monetary wealth, what can it get you? You have the score at the end, but what really did you accomplish?
Yeah.
When you are walking through this randomly generated area, there's lots of divergent paths. I could see that being an allegory for the paths that we all take in our lives rather, and how certain decisions lead to certain wealths, whether it be socially or monetarily or relationship-wise or what have you. But at the end of it, we all fucking die, and that's how it goes. So, not exactly the most uplifting and positive of messages, but it was a very interesting one, and it's something I really appreciated.
All right, tell me who Adam is, because I am so confused.
I'm pretty sure it's Adam Freund. Adam Michael
Son
on Facebook.
of
I think so. Am I thinking of the right Adam? I know like 8 Adam.
Yes,
I know like 5
it's
Adams.
probably him, that bastard.
Yes.
Okay.
You cheeky bastard. Well, that's the thing, because he used to have well, maybe he still has it, but he used to have a different Twitch handle, which is what threw me off, because my buddy Anthony is also looking into getting into Twitch, but I wouldn't have thought that he would have picked that name, but yeah, it was throwing me off.
Fucker.
But yeah, Jason Royer does lots of really cool stuff. There was a game that my buddy Alden showed me a number of years back where you you play like somebody on a soapbox. Think like somebody who's like trying to preach to the common masses, and you have like this sign that's either white with a black exclamation point, and you flip it over, there's like a black with a white exclamation point. And like you have this crowd of people, and like your goal is to convert them from one side to the other. So like you have the sign, and after a while people start to convert, but then your objective changes, so you have to flip it to the other side. So you flip the sign over and get them to convert to that side. And then it happens a couple of times, but with each conversion order, like with each objective to alter the trajectory of the people's opinions, the time in between the change gets shorter. So like eventually it's like instantaneous, and like the idea behind that is like, what's it saying about social, like what's it say about mob mentality, or what does it say about public opinions and public debates and things like that? Like, are we really communicating when we're shouting these things to each other, or are we just trying to achieve an agenda? Are we just trying to achieve a goal without really talking to each other? So these games that are really simplistic in nature, do all this weird stuff that are oftentimes abstract, seem to have a very underhanded message that again is not always the most positive, but is often very compelling. So I salute the game developers who do the weird stuff, and oftentimes they make very little money and are never going to see success with their game development, but we need people like that to continue to push forth these things on how can we make games into a serious art form the way that music and movies are. Those have been around so much longer. Games have been around for 40, 50 years. Not very long.
Well, depending on if you're talking about the first ever game created, which is like MIT or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And it was on that one computer, and it was like a Missile Command type deal.
Yeah. Or Space Battle.
Space Battle, yeah.
So because it's such a new art form, and because it's gotten so popular, we need to make sure that it matures as it needs to, and not just become a AAA shop. So I should have talked a whole lot though. So I don't. Yeah. So that's I've expended my talking quarter for a while. Now I can drink some water. Hope Amanda's not watching.
Hope Amanda's not watching.
Shout out to Amanda.
Yes, I'm sure she'll watch it soon. Okay. Now, speaking on art form, you and I have... Okay, so I'm speaking of the most simplest of art forms. I like your explanation of being more of an art form, like, as in, taking it all in, like, understanding the underlying values.
Right, yeah.
So, I like that.
Yeah.
Let's go over one more topic. Upcoming VR tech. Now, I know that Steam has their own VR.
Yes.
Sony has their own VR.
Yep.
Then there's obviously the major VR, which is Oculus Rift, which is the top dog.
Mm-hmm. And they've got a pseudo-definitive release quarter.
Yeah, when is it? Is it next year, or is it supposed to be this year?
I thought it was going to be... It's a single Google search away, but I think it's late this year. I think.
Let me Google search. Tell me what you think
fine.
while I search.
I think late this year. I'm going to say Q4 2015. Ooh, burn me, I'm a gentleman. I was wrong. I misled you all.
Q1 2016.
I am a lying sack of shit. So yeah, but still fairly fairly not too terribly far
Depending
away.
on how much it is, I think I'd pick it up, to be honest.
I'm definitely considering it.
Because I would love that to go along with me playing like Elite Dangerous.
Oh,
Like that would be like
man.
the first thing I'd want to play.
So
I know
cool.
that a few players, Scott Manley, I know plays with,
Yeah.
because he has a version of Oculus Rift
Yep.
already. I know that he has tested Elite Dangerous
Uh-huh.
with Oculus, and he loves it. He
Nice.
thinks it's natural feeling.
Uh-huh.
Especially since you can like the way in Elite Dangerous, all your windows and stuff are within your ship, so you
Yeah.
can actually like look over to them.
Uh-huh.
That is awesome.
it's
That's
so
really
cool.
cool. If a company can get VR working with the gloves,
Mhm.
with like your hands and stuff
Yeah.
like that, that would be like the perfect
Oh, yeah.
setup with it being that.
There's the Hydra. I know there's the I want to say I think Razer makes it the Hydra where,
Oh,
where
yeah.
you can use it. I
Yeah.
know I've seen it with Portal 2.
That's right.
yeah.
I did see that.
Yeah, and so there are peripherals for it, but I mean, yeah, it's still kind of pricey right now. But hopefully that stuff will eventually become more affordable. But yeah, man, between we know that Sony has one. We know that there's the Oculus Rift. There's Steam's got their own. Then Microsoft with their HoloLens, which, god dang, it almost looks too good to be true. I mean, it looks so slick. I almost like don't want to get excited about it because I don't want to be disappointed by reality. But God, it looks so fucking cool, man.
Adam brought up a good
Oh.
thing, which was the Void. I actually
Void,
watched
yeah.
this the other day. I didn't
Yeah.
think about it, but yeah, that it's a cool thing. I think they're a little ways off from getting it to work the
Yeah,
way
probably.
they kind of show in the preview, or the way that they want it to work.
Mhm.
I think it's a little ways off from getting that many people together in one fucking room and
Yeah.
doing stuff together, but that would be awesome.
Yeah.
If you had like a limitless ability to kind of set yourself up to do anything, obviously some game creators are going to have to be really fucking intelligent.
Yes.
But I think it's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
I think it's very cool.
It's like a futuristic laser tag, the way they demonstrated at least.
Yeah. Steam's VR, I like it because, man, when they were showing that demo, or whenever I was hearing it from Tested, I was
Mhm.
watching Tested, and they were like saying they were walking towards the out of bound, or walking
Yeah.
to a wall,
Uh-huh.
and then all of a sudden on the screen this like red barrier appeared.
Oh.
It's like,
That's
you know,
cool.
you can't cross this area
Yep.
because this is the actual wall to your
Yep.
house. Like, this is the wall to the room you're in. When they tried to walk around obstacles that were in the room, there would be like a red block or something that would
that's
appear,
cool. Yeah.
and it would show you what was not what you're
Oh,
supposed to
man.
walk around, what you're not supposed to be in.
Oh.
That is an awesome idea.
That's awesome.
If they can do that. Well, the good thing on Steam is that they reverse the way that Oculus Rift
Oh.
works. Oculus Rift works from everything with inside the VR,
Yeah.
and has the gyroscope and everything
Mhm.
there. They do it the opposite, where they have all the cameras actually focusing out.
Yeah.
And then they have one focusing in, so you
Mhm.
kind of it reads the room. It
Mhm.
easily reads the room, reads where you're at. I think
Yeah.
they have it kind of going where it's at. PlayStation's VR looks fucking awesome. They
It does.
they actually did pretty well, pretty much the same as Oculus Rift, but
Yeah.
I think they're gonna try to. They kind of have a better way of getting it into actual games really quick, because they can just tell their first party people being like,
Yeah.
we want this to be our first game to offer this VR support. Would you mind go ahead and
Yeah.
making this for us? So
I'm sure that was what prompted Microsoft to throw their hand into the ring with HoloLens.
Yep.
We know that Google, in all fairness, did throw themselves pretty hardcore into the Google Glass, and I know that it was hit or miss for some. I think they're going back to the drawing board, so we'll probably hear more soon.
the Google Glass had a good idea.
It did.
The thing is that people could not keep the fuckers charged.
Oh, is
Apparently.
that the big?
Yeah, apparently the battery life was only actually about 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh,
due to,
gross.
how much processing power you were doing and what
Yikes.
you were doing. And the whole creepy thing about being able to take photos at any time without people knowing is also another
Yeah.
thing. So
Yeah, it had some social quandaries there.
apparently Pornhub was looking into buying like 400 of them for their actors, but I don't know if that actually happened.
Well, that we know historically that when it comes to technological, what's the word, like acceptance of a new technology, you know,
Mhm.
between VCR versus Betamax or
Yeah.
Blu-ray versus HD DVD. We all know that one of the biggest, if not the biggest, stakeholders in all that is the pornography industry, because whatever they pick with is historically what the rest of us has gone for. So, I mean, if it's, it might be an uncomfortable subject for some, but I mean, yeah, porn places are totally looking into things like VR because that's a market for them. So
Yeah. Well, there's
everyone's-
there's already games made.
Yeah.
Like they already have games made
Yeah.
for that. So.
It's something that everyone's
happening.
considering. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time before it's before it becomes an actual thing. It feels like so much of this has been in beta for so long.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
VR has. I mean, it has
Yeah.
been a long time.
It
like,
has.
I mean, Oculus Rift has been around for a long time, a really
Yeah.
long while. So,
I guess we first started hearing about that. When was that Kickstarter? Was that 2011?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Yeah,
been
that
a
was
while.
that was that. Yeah, I thought about kickstarting it then, and then I thought about, well, I didn't hear about the Omni in time, but
Oh yeah, the Omni. Yeah.
the Omni apparently is hitting off pretty
Mhm.
well right now, paired with Oculus Rift
Yeah.
or any type of VR, because you can move anywhere on it.
Oh, it's so cool.
I don't know how that works. Like, do you have to wear special shoes? I guess on that.
I think it just tracks. I don't know for a fact, but I don't think it requires special shoes. I think the sensors are on the bottom, so it just tracks the direction that the footsteps are moving.
Okay,
And it just kind of figures it out.
I like that. I think it's a good
Um,
idea.
I could be wrong, but I think the idea is that you could use it with any footwear. But yeah, it's the kind of thing. Well, hell, I know that VR, the implementation or the attempted implementation of VR in a general sense has been around since, I don't know. I know that it was like kind of a fad during the 80s, and it probably was like prototypes for that were probably starting, maybe a decade or two before that even.
Mhm.
So it's something that we as humankind have been trying to achieve for God multiple decades by this point.
Yeah.
So the fact that the technology is pretty much there and we're all excited for it. I do hope that it has staying power, that it's not just a fad. Looking at you 3D TVs or
well, no. The
uh,
thing is, nobody really wanted a 3D TV.
yeah,
They kind of
Yeah.
just threw that on us. Like,
It was.
Please buy this.
yeah,
Just kind of like 3D movies. Nobody truly asked for a 3D movie. Okay.
yeah.
Please
those kind of
stop.
things.
Please, Hollywood, come on.
Yeah,
Please
yeah. There were
stop.
cool implementations of it, but for the most
I did
part,
enjoy Avatar in 3D.
Avatar was good.
That was good in 3D.
Yeah, and Gravity in 3D. I don't know.
I never actually watched Gravity. Was that good?
Oh, I loved Gravity, but I saw it. I saw it at a buddy's place. This was at Mark's place. Adam, I think you were there. But yeah, we watched Gravity in 3D, and Mark's got this really nice TV that can display in 3D, had the glasses and everything. And seeing Gravity in 3D, I don't think I could watch it otherwise. Because oh man,
I think if Interstellar was
was
in 3D, I think I
intense.
would enjoy it.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that working.
Interstellar was such a good movie.
Yeah.
The story was weird and not good.
Yeah.
But the visuals and
Oh.
fucking audio. Oh god, that was so good.
Delicious.
It was delicious.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah, I do hope that it's not just a fad.
Apparently, you can get a
The whole
1080p 3D projector for around $600 now.
Oh, that's
That's actually not.
That's
too
not
bad.
half bad.
No.
That's better than I thought it would be, honestly. Especially for projectors, that shit is not cheap. One of my buddies, Weston, has a really nice projector at his place, and for very understandable reasons, he's pretty much put the kibosh on like taking it anywhere. It's like, no, that thing is expensive. You don't move it. You just keep it there, because that shit is expensive, and yeah, they tend to be fairly fragile.
Well, I guess the thing with being so cheap with the 1080p projector is the fact that 1080p is kind of going out the door.
In some ways, it feels
I
that
think
way.
the 1440s and 4Ks
4Ks are exciting.
are getting there. And
I'm
they're getting less and less expensive. Shit, I mean, Apple is already making their 8K display.
Really?
Yeah, I think
that I did not know.
They're working on.
God, man, so many pixels.
Too many.
Too many pixels? Takes
Maybe.
a lot to...
I can't wait to maximize resolution so I can look
Oh,
at my
man.
taskbar. Just kidding. I won't be able to
I was gonna
fucking
say,
see
you
it.
don't be able to read anything. Yeah, microscope. Oh man, it's exciting, if not a little terrifying. Mostly exciting though. It's pretty cool. It really, what it means is that you're just gonna have to buy a monitor that takes up this wall
Yeah.
or something just obnoxious. Like my buddy Justin has a 78.5-inch TV that is
Jesus.
pretty much a wall. It's good luck moving that thing anywhere. God, that's ridiculous. That's so ridiculous. Yeah, I had the same reaction. 8K, what the fuck? That was my exact
Yeah,
reaction.
let me
Adam.
look it
Thank
up.
you.
I know that Google was Apple was working on it.
That's insane, man. 8K.
Maybe it was 6K. I could be wrong.
Still, that's more Ks than I'm comfortable with. Comfortable spelled with a K.
8K iMac. It's actually what they're
That's
working
what
on.
they're working on.
LG
That's-
publicly claims Apple will release iMac 8K.
Someday, man, and maybe someday we'll have Grand Theft Auto 9 in 12K resolutions that we just mirror onto with our VR headsets.
I am in real life.
I just sandwiched all the topics from the last 30 minutes, but yeah, it's that shit is it. I don't know. I'm hoping that is not just a fad. I'm hoping that it's
Yeah, I hope VR is going to be VR is going to be awesome, no doubt. I think there's a lot of games that can. Yeah.
What did we just hit?
What did we just hit? Real.
1080p, 1280p, real P.
Yeah.
That makes me uncomfortable. But
real, and there's the P next
yeah,
to
yeah.
it. Real P.
I'm an adult.
Hard. I think that's all we got today.
Good.
Probably wrap it up here. We're going for about an hour and 15. I meant to shorten it, and we still go long.
We get so excited.
Jesus.
We get excited when we talk about things.
But yeah, thanks for you guys for helping out and getting us some topics and
Yeah, man.
and joining us. Means a lot. And join us next week. It'll probably be next Wednesday.
Yeah.
So next Wednesday is probably what we'll shoot for.
Next Wednesday sounds good.
And yeah. Anything you want to say?
Shout outs to Adam and Pat and
Pat.
and yeah, no, and Elite Conman who was there and earlier, all the people who were chatting with us. It definitely keeps things interesting. I mean Justin and I could both, if nobody was here, same show.
Yeah, exactly. Same show. Yeah.
But it's a lot more enjoyable when people are actively feeding ideas and information to us, just because.
It's very enjoyable that way.
Because it's we wouldn't be doing it on Twitch if we didn't want people to talk to us. So, by all means, please talk forever. We love you more than you would like to know.
We love you long time.
We love you more than should be comfortable.
Yeah.
You should be worried. It should be creepy.
Yeah.
Right, Dexter?
All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out, and we will catch you all next week.
Sounds good. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Now reach up and turn it off.
And we say goodbye, and then I kill it.
Goodbye.
And now it's dead.